This was one of the most challenging clearance attempts of Ronnie O'Sullivan's career. All 15 reds were spread across the table, creating a difficult and unpredictable layout. Even for a player famous for solving complicated situations, Ronnie took his time to stand back and carefully study the table before making his move. Facing a layout full of hidden dangers, he prepared to rely on his legendary cue ball control to produce a clearance that would be remembered for years. Ronnie calmly potted a red into the middle pocket. The cue ball traveled around the table and came to rest perfectly on the blue. This is what makes Ronnie O'Sullivan such a special attacking player. He is often willing to attempt shots into difficult middle pockets that many players would rather avoid. For Ronnie, however, these challenging shots can create the best opportunities. This memorable battle against Mark Selby took place in the semi-final of the 2018 Northern Ireland Open. More than 20 minutes of tactical exchanges and attacking play had already passed. During that time, the reds that were once grouped together had been spread across the table. At first glance, the balls looked randomly positioned, but every red was connected to the next decision. One small positional mistake could have ended the entire break. For most players, finding a clear route through this kind of table would have been extremely difficult. But complicated situations like this are exactly where Ronnie's attacking instincts often shine. From the moment he got his opportunity, Ronnie had a clear plan. His first objective was to remove the cluster of reds in the center of the table. This would make the remaining positional decisions much easier. The colors were still sitting on their original spots, while the reds around the green presented the biggest challenge. For Ronnie, simply reaching a winning score was not the difficult part. The real challenge was completing the entire clearance in one visit without losing control of the cue ball. That required exceptional precision on almost every shot.
Vancina.
Most snooker fans are familiar with the famous 147 maximum break, but there is another unusual achievement in snooker that receives far less attention. Mark Allen once cleared all 15 reds in an official match and scored 109 points in a single break by repeatedly using the lower value colors. That remains the record for this particular type of clearance. It is a rare achievement that very few players have seriously attempted to challenge. And now Ronnie was building a break that showed just how difficult this type of table could be mastered. The opening 5 frames had already produced a fierce battle between Ronnie and Selby. Ronnie produced 2 huge century breaks and won his frames with impressive efficiency. Selby responded with 2 breaks above 50, keeping himself close and making sure Ronnie could never relax. The best of 11 match remained extremely competitive and eventually came down to the final frame. As the match entered its later stages, Ronnie began to turn the table into a demonstration of scoring precision. Every positional shot was carefully controlled. Each red-to-color combination flowed naturally into the next. The crowd could already see that something special was happening. Ronnie then potted the black, moving his score beyond the points remaining on the table. The frame was firmly under his control, but there was still one problem he needed to solve. A green and a nearby red were blocking each other, creating the final major obstacle in the clearance. Everyone waited to see how Ronnie would deal with it. Ronnie potted the red into the middle pocket, sending the cue ball into exactly the right position. The shot finally opened the space between the green and the nearby red. Suddenly, the final balls were available. The table that had looked so complicated at the beginning now appeared completely under Ronnie's control. From struggling to find an attacking route to standing just one step away from completing the clearance, Ronnie once again showed why he is regarded as one of the greatest players when it comes to difficult table situations. Now he was ready to deliver the final stage of this ruthless clearance. Ronnie's cue action has always been one of the simplest and most effective in snooker. There is no unnecessary movement and no complicated technique. Instead, he relies on his incredible understanding of the cue ball. The cue ball often seems to travel exactly where Ronnie wants it to go, with each positional shot setting up the next opportunity. That natural control is one of the biggest reasons his best breaks can look almost effortless. Many great players build their ability through years of intense practice and repetition. Ronnie's best shots, however, often give the impression that his extraordinary feel for the game is simply natural. The final black disappeared cleanly into the pocket, completing an impressive clearance from start to finish. Ronnie O'Sullivan had solved every major problem the table had presented and turned a chaotic layout into a perfectly controlled break. It was another outstanding demonstration of his precision creativity and legendary cue ball control.